What's brackin', guys? Welcome to this video where we will be predicting the overall and potential of U.S. men's national team's players. All these players are either in actually the squad for World Cup qualifying, or we're in the Nations League, Gold Cup, or maybe are on the cusp of the next World Cup qualification roster. So first, we're going to be taking a look at Antonee Robinson. I have him as a 75 overall left back. 82 potential. So he's a player I've been a bit critical of on Twitter. Some people have noted, and I think he's a really good, north and south player because he's got pace. He's a decent dribbler. Crossing isn't too bad, but with his actual technical ability, he's not the best. But he's been very good so far in the championship. He's averaging a key pass a game. He has 1 assist. But he'll be good against CONCACAF opponents, and I do think 82 potential is decent for him. I think last season he showed a lot of improvements for Fulham in the Premier League. Defensively is a big thing also. So now a player who just moved to Montpellier, Nicolas GIOACCHINI, the 21-year-old, he's just needs to get that club situation, better and be in good club form because he scored 4 goals in 30 appearances last season in the second division of France, and that's not amazing. But he did look very good in the Gold Cup, very direct, strong in the final third. He just needs to produce more at the club level to get his rating up. So that's why I give him a 65 overall and 78 potential. But I do think he could end up being a pretty good player. And with the striker pool being there's not as much consistency. As you can see, another striker here, Dike. I know he's really hyped up because of his performances for Barnsley. 9 goals in 19 games. He did start out pretty hot, but his form did kind of slow down at the end. He wasn't impressive during the Gold Cup, but did have a nagging injury. He just needs to really tear up the MLS rest of the season if he doesn't get transferred out. So basically, at this point, his biggest hope, I believe, would be going to Turkey. That's the rumor at the moment. He just needs to improve with his movement in the final third to be a more complete striker. His movement is not the best. Just at the moment, really, he's best playing high up. You use him, with his strength to win duels and long balls. That's kind of the way he was used at Barnsley, and he's really good in that role. But I'll give him 71 overall, 81 potential, especially with that strength he has. Now, moving into the next player here, the 24-year-old Miles Robinson, the best defender at the 2021 Gold Cup. He's pacey, he's strong, very good in the air. He reads the game well. He's a pretty good passer, comfortable on the ball. I think he'll partner with John Brooks in the World Cup qualifying. Going to be a very solid player, it looks like. So I'll give him 74 overall at the moment and 82 potential. Now moving on to a player who just also made a move to new club. So Matthew Hoppe, the 20-year-old, he put himself on the U.S. men's national team radar with a hat trick against Hoffenheim for what was a terrible Schalke team. He scored 3 more goals the rest of the season in 22 appearances. So he just kind of had that big moment to put himself on the radar and just needs to be consistent. That's the main thing with him. Obviously, it didn't help the team he was playing for. He's been playing with a much better attack. Also, for Mallorca, they look actually pretty strong. They definitely should be staying up and having a solid season. So he just needs to get back in form at club level, be consistent. So with that, I'll give him a 69 overall, nice, and 82 potential. So I think we can certainly see that overall improve if he has some good performances. Now moving on to James Sands, the 21-year-old center defenseman, played center back for the U.S. men's national team at the Gold Cup, and he really did not look out of place. He's very good on the ball also. He's a good option as a central center back and a 3-back. He's played there pretty much, a bit for club as well, but he's mostly CDM for New York City FC with their current tactics, and he's very good in that position. His passing, he's solid, he's comfortable on the ball, he's good defensively. So I think I'll give him a 70 overall with 80 potential. He's going to be a pretty good player. Don't know if he'll be a starter for the U.S. men's national team. I think he'll be a good squad player, kind of a cover for CDM and center back. But now moving on to Brenden Aaronson, the 20-year-old has been really impressive since joining Red Bull Salzburg. He scored some big goals in Champions League qualifying so far, even just this season, which helped his club get to the Champions League group stage. He was not actually playing too well at the start in the Austrian Bundesliga, but he's getting back into form. It looks like he's really good as both a winger and cam. He can play both of those roles for the U.S. men's national team. Also, I think he'd be a good option as a 10 and can also play out wide. I remember him playing very well. I think it was against Costa Rica in one of the friendlies after Nations League. He looked very dangerous. So 73 overall with 83 potential is what I gave him. Now moving on to Tim Timothy Weah, the 21-year-old, he bounced back from a big injury and saw himself get quite a bit of playing time off the bench. He scored 3 goals in 28 appearances. He seems to establish himself in the squad. So we just need to see a bigger goal and assist output from him this season is the main thing. He has 74 overall with 83 potential is what I'm going to give him. Now moving on to some of the big boys, Christian Pulisic, the 22-year-old bounced back from what was really a poor start last season. In the Premier League, he ended up scoring 4 goals to go with 3 assists. Not amazing. He probably would have had more assists if he didn't have Timo Werner bottling so much. But in Champions League, he scored 2 goals to go with 2 assists. He needs to produce more goals and assists, clearly, like he did in the first season with Chelsea. Avoid injuries and just be consistent. That's the main thing. He's not consistent yet. And with that, that's how he'll make his next step in his career to be just a really big player. I'll give him 82 overall and 87 potential. Now moving on to another big player for the U.S. men's national team is going to be really a big fixture in that CDM role for us. Tyler Adams, the 22-year-old, is another injury-prone player. He just needs to stay fit and play consistently. He got fit last season, was playing more consistently. He played mostly as a right wing back or right midfielder. He didn't look very good defensively. He still needs to improve a bit more on the ball. As a CDM, he's going to be playing there for Leipzig and U.S. men's national team now. So that's good to have that consistency for him. It's going to be a lot of turnover, obviously. New manager, key players leaving. He's struggled so far, honestly, as the club in general. I think they have 2 losses, 1 win. But I'll give him a 78 overall with 85 potential. He just needs to be better. I mean, that's the main thing. Now, moving on to Weston McKennie. The 23-year-old was really not expected to have a big role that he did at Juventus by some people. I mean, he played everywhere for what was a very bad Schalke team. But he has a knack for a goal. He scored 6 goals last season. I mean, that's pretty good for a midfielder. Can win those aerial duels. He's tons of stamina. He can run all over the pitch. He's improved technically. He still isn't the most creative player, but he's a solid number 8, really good box-to-box midfielder, which is where he should be playing. He played as a 10 for Juve in the most recent match, and he did not look good. He needs to be an 8, but as long as he's played there consistently, continues to improve, I think we'll give him that 80 overall and 85 potential. We'll certainly see that improve throughout the year. Now, moving on to Josh Sargent, the 20-year-old striker left Werder Bremen, which was basically a big mess. He was mostly playing as a kind of a winger, even would drop as like a wing back sometimes. But he scored 5 goals last season for what was just not a good club. Didn't look confident or informed though, but he actually scored 2 goals before in the 2 Bundesliga before leaving to Norwich. So that's good to see. He's scoring more goals. He's looked promising for Norwich off the bench. With his hold-up play. He did miss a big chance versus Leicester after bagging a brace in the cup versus Bournemouth. So he just needs to be making some of those big chances to push himself higher up in the overall and into a starting role. But he'll be pushed in the U.S. men's national team. You got Pepe, you got Piffolk in decent form. So he's not really a guaranteed starter or anything. He just needs to start scoring goals again. So I'll give him a 70 overall with 81 potential. Now moving on to Mark McKenzie, another player called up to World Cup qualifying. The 22-year-old center back, he moved to Genk from the Philadelphia Union in the winter. He hasn't really been able to completely establish himself as a starter, but he's comfortable on the ball. I mean, other than that big mistake versus Mexico in Nation League's final, but he kind of bounced back really well from that in the end. He just needs to establish himself in the starting 11 for Genk to get that overall and potential higher, and obviously for the good of the U.S. men's national team in his own career. So I'll give him 72 overall with 79 potential. Now moving on to Chris Richards. The 21-year-old had a strong half season on loan with Hoffenheim. He looked really good with his reading of the game. He can defend 1v1. His passing range and ability, he really breaks those lines with his passing range and ability. So that's a big thing. So once he established himself at Hoffenheim again and secured his starting spot back, he's on loan with them again, which happened, I think, was a transfer deadline day, so a couple days ago. So I think once he does that, he can really just establish himself next to John Brooks, or we could even see like a 3-back with Chris Richards, John Brooks, Miles Robinson. That'd be a really good back line. So I'll give him 74 overall with 86 potential. Now moving on to Serginho Dest. The 20-year-old established himself with Barcelona last season. He's going to be staying with that mess of a club. Maybe it's good for him just at least to get that consistency, but obviously it is a dumpster fire, Barcelona at the moment. He's always going to be a threat going forward with his flair, his dribbling ability, but he still needs to be a lot of the times he's just not executing that final pass, and that's the big step up. Obviously, you can get forward, but if you're not picking out that final pass in the final third, you're not doing much. But he's also just needs to improve defensively. He's not amazing defensively. He's showing some improvement, which is good. That's obviously not his strong suit still. I mean, Emerson has left, so that right back spot looks to be his, and hopefully he just really establishes himself in that spot. So I'm going to give him a 76 overall with 85 potential. With that, guys, thank you all for tuning in. Really excited for World Cup qualification to start. It's El Salvador coming up on Thursday, so that's going to be a fun one. It's not going to be an easy game. I think El Salvador actually looks very good with Hugo Perez as their coach. They look really strong in the Gold Cup. They like to play good possession football, and obviously, from what I've heard, basically it's going to be at full capacity at the in El Salvador. So yeah, it's going to be a difficult matchup. I know that we have the quality, though. These have to not be like, what's the word, phased by the environment, because now these guys really haven't played in those tough environments yet, but they have the quality to overcome it. As long as their mental game is strong, we should be able to win that match. And I think we definitely should be getting at least 7 points in these 3 matches in the World Cup qualification window. But thank you guys for the love and support. Let me know what you guys have all for the overall potential of some of these players on this list. With that, I love you. Thank you all for tuning in. Hit that like button. I'll be signing out now, and I'll catch you guys later.